Hey everyone, for all of you getting large page productions and large website count productions, I want to go through this because this is a new layer of variability. I've never seen anyone do it this way before. We started to talk about alternating storylines in the last recording, right? And just a real quick rehash. Remember, what did we talk about? We talked about upgrading to Core Web Vitals for page speed and making the pages load really fast. We did a great job with that. We talked about using WEBP images everywhere, all our templates, right? Really good job with that. We talked about being able to load up a lot of maps and YouTube videos. Great job with that. Then we talked about creating this backlink mastery concept where even the backlinks don't follow the same rules whenever they appear from page to page to page. So Google can't see the same structure in the backlinks, okay? And that's important. Then we talked about how when you view the source code even, and you look at the link structure, we can randomly rearrange the attributes across the links. So where the target equals underscore blank or target equals underscore self, right? Or whether that's even there is totally up to us, right? And it's different from page to page to page. Same with the rel. Rel equals follow or no follow. Or if there even is a rel tag, totally up to us. But always the links follow the rules we want. If we have like backlink no geo to destination websites, that's fine. Cross links to other the feeder projects, that's fine. Whether they're geo or no geo. When we go through all the pages, they all follow the same rules that we give it, but they don't follow the same formats. So all of this stuff changes in such a way that Google doesn't see footprints. We thought that was really important. Now to flesh it out across all the pages, and here's where things got really interesting. I just need to step in and explain it here. So one of my programmers came to me, he said, hey Dave, he goes, can you verify the way the backlinks are on this main page so I can use this as a model? I said, all right. And I came down to where the page starts with the H1 tag and where we have our, optional video with a get it now button below it or click here or schedule a call, whatever it is. And then whatever verbiage that should go with the button so that Google kind of connects these and also so people can choose what they want to click on. But then here we go. All right, so do I see a backlink in here? No. That was like the first small paragraph. Okay, so we've got the H1 tag followed by no backlink here. Then we have our H2 tags. So there's that followed by its section, its paragraph, its section. And what do we have here? We got one backlink. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. I could say, it should be here, it should be up here somewhere. Doesn't really matter. I'm fine with that. Google's not going to mind. All right, now we got the next one. It's got one backlink in the paragraph. And then down here in the next section, there's one backlink, and one backlink. And then the page comes to a close and we have that final reminder for the conversion action, right? If people did read all the way down, we want to remind them, hey, get in now, right? Or schedule a call or whatever. All right, so anyway, son, is this good enough for the model? And I was going to say yes right away because I liked it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I thought, wait a minute. There's like one backlink in every single paragraph is perfectly fine for a page. But what if we do thousands of pages? So then I started telling him, hey, maybe take the one out of the middle paragraph. And then I'm like, no, wait, put it back. No. How about what if we move this one further up here? No, wait, don't do that. Should we? And then I started tripping over my tongue, right? And he started laughing. He's like, I've never seen you so confused. I said, hold on, give me a minute. I got to figure this out. So I just thought, let me figure this out. I started at the top. I said, all right, there's 3 banner sliders by design. We do that by default. So there's 3 of these buttons. There's 3 backlinks. They can go to the same place, different places. It's up to us. That's 3. Then we've got 4, 5, because Google will count those differently. One's an image, the other's print. And we've got the 6, 7 down here, right? And then we set 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, 12 backlinks on the page total. 12 links that leave the website or stay in the website. It's up to us. But I thought, do you know what? That's pretty cool. And then the rest of that's inner pages for sure. This is like menu links, right? Menu links. Okay. They will stay on the website. Anyway, I said, what if Google... what if we're creating thousands of pages and Google's seeing that always there is a link here near the bottom of this paragraph, and then there's always a link here, and there's a link per paragraph every single time. I said, is that or is that not a footprint I should worry about? Maybe it's too hard to say it's a footprint because Google just can't use a rule like that to follow, or it's going to get false readings. But I don't know. And it bothered me, right? It's like, what in the heck? Do I or do I not say that that's right? And I thought, well, how would I, like if we ran it this way and we found there was a problem, what could we do to make it easier? I mean, we could like remove some links or maybe double up on some. But if I didn't want a backlink in every single paragraph, what would I do? I thought, well, okay, I'd pretty much take a big paragraph like this, is big enough, and I'd break it. I might break it here, or I might break it here. But then that way, I don't have a backlink in every paragraph. I could break this one here, and I could break this one down here, and I thought, oh, all of a sudden the light bulb went on, right? Are you guys starting to follow along? Because of nested variables, we have control we didn't have before, and I want to point this out. So check this out. If I go into the admin panel and go into the pages, right? And I just say, all right, let's go find that section, okay? What can I do in terms of controllers? And I said, okay, there's the H1 tag, there's the YouTube video, there's the button and the wording below the button, and then that small paragraph that had no backlinks. Then what? Then I've got my header 2 with the paragraph here, and then the next header 2 with its own, and the next header 2 with its own. And look, these are bolded. Right? That's my backlinks, really, right? See that? So then I thought, okay, I'm going to put this whole thing into a cell in Excel as a nested variable. I'm going to make the whole thing a variable, okay? But I can't do it with that. I got to do it with the source code. If I want to be exacting about my control, I better do it with the source code. I'll show you why. So I opened up Excel. And I popped it in there, and I even gave it a header like page 1, section 2, meaning that first section below the top paragraph that went with the H1 tag, right? This is the second section, right? Because the first section, just to be clear, I'm calling this the first section right here down to here. That's the first section. So this is the second section. Then I'm going to say that this is the third section, right? Let's talk about what this means. What is better for Google? That there's a backlink in every paragraph, or one in every other paragraph? Or what if there's like a certain ratio that makes sense, right? What if it's like 1 in every 3 paragraphs, right? Or maybe the whole point is just the pages shouldn't always be the same. They shouldn't always have a backlink in the same spot, right? Some of them should be in the middle of a paragraph. Some should be at the bottom. Some should be at the top. What do we do about that? And I'm going to show you. This is so cool. So if I, whoops, wrong link. If I come here and I'm looking at what I just pasted in there is that first section, okay? So I got that header and I got that section. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to paste it again. Well, I can't do it that way. I've got to actually, it's probably easiest if I just do it here. Control-Alt, Control-C. It'll get everything. And then if I click here, okay, and paste. Okay, there you go. I just got it again, right? Okay, so it's the same thing again. Guess what my difference is going to be for that one section? I'm going to find wherever the middle of it is, basically the end of one sentence at the beginning of the next sentence. I didn't verify it in my var sheet. I could open my var sheet and find the answer, but I'm just going to assume it's right here. And I'm going to put the end of a paragraph right there, and therefore the start of the next paragraph right away. Oh man, I just changed everything. It used to be one paragraph that had a backlink in it. Now it's 2 paragraphs, one of which does not have a backlink in it, one of which does have a backlink in it. What else could I do? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to do this again. Control-Alt, Control-C. And then I'm going to come here and make another variation. Only this time, I'm going to find 2 places to break this thing up. I'm going to find like maybe here is like where a paragraph is, and I'm going to say it's still good enough. I can use it as its own section. Right? And then I'm going to copy that, Control-C, because I'm going to like paste it down here where another one goes. Maybe this is where a period is, right? I'm just going to assume it. Whoa, I turned one paragraph into a variable 2 paragraphs or a variable 3. In this case, there is a ratio of 1 backlink to 1 paragraph. Here, a ratio of 1 backlink to 2 paragraphs. Here, a ratio of 1 backlink to 3 paragraphs. That's kind of cool, huh? Because that was just that top section, right? Think about what it must mean. If I just did that here, what stops me from creating my next column for this one? Page 2, section, or whatever, page 1, section 3, page 1, section 4, 5, 6, right? What if I go pasting in those sections? And then I do the same thing so I can mix and match the results page by page. I get entirely different things happening here all of a sudden, don't I? What are some other things I could do? Okay. I'll show you. I'm going to take this one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take these two that have the paragraph breaks in them. I'm going to come down. I'm going to paste them again. Probably doesn't want to work that way. Control C. I'll just do it manually. And then the one above it was that one. Control C. And put it here. Okay. Guess what? This is the end of a paragraph and the start of a next paragraph, right? Why don't I put a different header in there? Control C. So that's going to be a header. And I'm just going to make it something else, right? So instead of service, maybe this is like service 3, it's some other column. Instead of R70, I go and look and find some other extender. Maybe it's going to be like extender 1. I've got extenders, you know, like videos, topics, training. So it's keyword videos, keywords, topics, keyword training, keyword benefits, keyword features, you know, stuff like that, right? Extenders. Okay. And then when you think about it, I can do that down here, and now I could do it twice. Now, it's kind of hard to just click on it once, right? So watch this, right? I'm just going to show you what I mean. And I'm sure you know. So I'm going to put one here. And maybe I'll put one here, but I don't even need to yet. I could just leave that one. And then copy it. Control C 2 more times. I'm gonna do it once. Only this time I'm going to move that from the top to the bottom. Control X. You guys starting to see how far this can go? Okay, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. For all you guys that we don't have projects done on yet, okay, yeah, all this stuff's getting added in. For all you guys we just finished projects on, we're going to go back through and do some of these updates anyway. Just cause, right? It's going to be a really good thing. For all of you with personal projects, it's one thing. And so, yeah. Let me go in here. And yeah, they're both in there. But of course, just make sure that they're always different. So this could be like, I don't know. Again, it's a header, right? So it might be like keywords 5, you know. And then again, this could be something else. I don't know what. Extender 3. I'm just saying that, right? And then the next one down is going to be different, right? So that it also carries power at its own level in a whole different way. Okay? Keyword 3, extender 5. I mean, we're going to have like rhyme and reason to this, but I'm just pointing that out. So you understand how cool this is when we do it for all of these? It looks like a lot of work until you remember what it means for the output. The output pages, right, are going to be so different, footprints start to get lost. And if you're in doubt, I'm going to make some other points. The first version of an alternate storyline is to just simply not have the rest of the story, right? Well, here's what I mean by that. Come now. What if I decide to take the middle section out? So that Google doesn't see the format go from one to the next. So I'm going to go straight from here at the end of that paragraph to the beginning of this next paragraph down here and kill the part in the middle. Maybe I'll put a header in there, maybe I won't, but again, I can do another variation, can I? And of course, I could just take the bottom part out. Of course, I could just take the top part out. I could make it so that Google can't really follow along with the formats. And the pages, again, are just going to be all these different combinations going in a different way. So as long as it's sensible, as long as it's set up in such a way that I can mix and match to, I'll mix and match to the degree that the storyline is not damaged. But I'll make it so that the storyline is variable. Now, let me ask you what else. Just how fast can you see the changes? This is crazy. This top part has a video. That becomes a variable, whether the video is in there or not. So we're going to paste it in twice. One of them, we're going to take the YouTube video out. Okay? We could take this out, but usually we want to leave it in because the client's going to want this here. Even if the client doesn't see a point to the video, or we're creating 1,000 pages, but we only have like 10 videos, and we don't want the same 10 videos spread exactly across all the 1,000 pages. We just want them on like half of the pages or a third of the pages, right? Then we can make that happen. By the way, how do you weight? You weight this way. So you have your option here has, let's say, has the YouTube, and then this one does not. So I'm going to just say not, right? If I want to make it have the YouTube more often, here, let me stretch this out a little bit more so it's kind of easier to read. And then bring it up. Okay. It says YouTube and not. Say I want it more often. What do? Another YouTube. Even if it's the exact same as this one. I know I spelled it differently. Say it's the exact same. I just pasted the same thing twice. What's the point? Randomly, if it's choosing, it's going to choose A, B, or A. So this gets chosen twice as often as that, right? So I can make sure my YouTube videos are showing up on about 2/3 of the total pages. Can we weight all the options? Yeah, I could make sure to have 10 of these, 9 of those, 8 of those, 7 of these going straight down. Isn't that insane? Starting to see the variation and the value in that, because you can produce variations that have fewer and fewer footprints that are more and more varied and different. And guess what else? If we create alternate storylines, we don't even have to end with the same stuff anymore, do we? Our alternating storyline could include the alternate topics. Here, this whole thing, this H2 section with that, could be replaced with something totally different. And that goes true for the middle section here, this one here. This one that goes with its own paragraph to the end of that paragraph could be literally replaced with a whole different section from an alternate storyline. So if somebody did a copywriting job and we wrote what the page should be about, like 5 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs, but then we also wrote how the page could have otherwise developed with other topics, 6 other ones say, but they're all pretty much mix and match. It doesn't really matter as long as the order goes top down, something like that. Then we can mix and match this stuff so Google sees even less and less and less of a storyline or of a footprint. Then what? Then what? What else could we do with it? What if we oriented an image at the top right of that section? And then we decided to make a version of it that has no image, and another version that has the image aligned to the left instead of the right. Oh, so our pages can be produced so that sometimes the image is up here, sometimes the image is up there, like if I went to one of the inner pages, say. Okay, we could have an image that would show up either here, or not at all. And then the next section could have an image that shows up. Now, granted, that's like a lot of images, right? We don't need to do that. But down here, probably starting with either this or the final section, we could have an image on the left or on the right. Maybe at the bottom on the right or on the left, right? And the words would wrap around it nicely. We make sure that in the coding, that whenever it does choose to use one of those options, then it's going to wrap that image nicely. And you know what's neat about that? The image doesn't have to be the same. We can have 10, 50, 100, 1,000 totally different images that are going to be swapped between for these things. Do you get it? With our alternate storylines, with however many paragraphs we have, with sections that do or do not have backlinks in them. Do you realize that I could also just take one of these sections, copy it down here, and just take the backlink out, put in some kind of static wording that finishes the sentence off just fine, or starts the sentence just fine. And that way I don't need a backlink in that spot. And I can wait whether I want that to happen more or less often by just highlighting everything else around it and pasting it again so that everything else has twice the weight of that one thing I just did. And then I'll go to the next section on the page. Then I'll go to page 2, section 1 or 2, and do the same thing for all the page 2 sections. Then the same thing for all the page 3 sections. With all these combinations, I can choose whether to have additional subheaders, and that's the point. Google cannot figure out the number of paragraphs is not the same. The number of H2 tags is not the same. The number of backlinks is not the same. Okay? And all of this becomes something that Google loses, right? Footprints. Being able to just identify footprints anymore. And that's what's going on. So on the one hand, and the part I'm not showing you is all the new templates that are looking really, really awesome for a single person's job. For the guys who are getting the large productions, the layering of uniqueness that we're building into the templates and training the crew on layers and layers of professional tier 1 top quality website generations so that anyone who orders, even if it's 1,000 or 6,000 projects, can click from one to the next and say, that one is worthy of selling somebody is a standalone website. So is that one. So is that one. So is that one. And at the same time that that's happening with the templates, the images, the layouts of the pages are totally different, don't look the same at all, right? And totally different templates brought into the mix. Down here, what do we have? Contents, change, alternate storylines fill in for these things. We're producing the whole smorgasbord of however many paragraphs, however many backlinks, however many of these things we want, and they're different. Okay, so when you go across sites, this looks more and more like different people created each of their own contents altogether. Okay, that's amazing power. All right, just so you know. It's gotten that far, and it's a layer of variability that I've never seen anyone do, and we're at the point where we can do it now. We can decide when YouTube videos pop in, when images pop in, whether to have a new section or not at the bottom showing a big image that stretches across or not, and which image from a stack of variable images that we use that are all WEBP. They're all top quality images. We just choose the ones we want for the pages based on whatever. It can be different images with the different storylines, the alternate endings. Each alternate ending can have its own choice of image or not, or image aligned to the left or the right. And whether it has its own second YouTube video. We could have a second YouTube video down low like that. Well, it wouldn't be low. This is the first section. The whole thing is the first section, all the variations of the first section. But by the time we get to like section 5 or something, right? And this is low on the page now, right? We can decide which variations to have a second YouTube video based on its own alternate ending or on its own storyline. And whether it has images, like I say, or any other thing for that matter. Right? We could plug and play codes for anything. Google Map could appear here and there. Hey, would you like to speak to a live rep can appear on some of the pages, not on others. Right? We can literally control that so that Google doesn't see similarities that it can count. You might say, well, what if you just have that chat box on a bunch of your websites? Can't Google use that as a footprint? And the answer is no. Why not? Because many, many people, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of websites use that. If Google were to try to make that a footprint, it would get false reads, false indications, and go down wild goose chases left and right all the way across the internet. It doesn't work. So Google won't do that. So we're reaching a point of extreme control. Now, this is part 1 of this explanation. There is a part 2 to this explanation that just exploded on its own. And about the time it did, it put us just in happy shell shock over what it means. So I've gone on long enough on this. I'm going to break off, let you guys take a walk around the block in a daze. Think about the power of this level of variability and how many ways there are to control it, how many ways there are to standardize variations of it. And what do you think is important about this? We can track it. We can have tracking code on all of this. We can have the code that captures visitors behind the scenes and puts them in the newsletter and reaches out to them. All of this is done so that we can see which pages Google ranks, and we can look at the commonalities between those pages that rank, right? And we can say, ooh, Google likes a ratio with no more than, 20 backlinks per page, no fewer than this many paragraphs. The ratio of backlinks to paragraphs should not be any higher than this. And on and on. These are the combinations that look a little more professional than that, although probably all of them will look perfectly professional. They're based on the elements that look professional already, right? So we'll just go through all this and we'll figure out what Google likes the most, right? That leads me to my next topic. So yeah, go swim in this for a little bit mentally and realize the power of it, because this is becoming standard in the projects that we do for anyone that calls us and says, Dave, I think I want a project from you guys. Help me decide. This is what I have in mind. Does this make sense? Is this worth doing? And if you think so and I think so, and we get it down and it makes sense and we give you a quote on that, or phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and you decide I'm going to go with A, B, C, or I'm going to go with that whole quote, or whatever it is you think, or I'm going to start here and move up, whatever it is that I can give you for options, it's going to be built with this entire level of power from the ground up. All right, so you can give me a call. That's Dave. That's my cell and my Skype for those of you out of the country. And I'm just going to make this big real quick. You can write this down if you want. Okay. There you go. All right. And by the way, don't let the area code fool you. This is Michigan, but I've been in the same business doing the same thing for so long. I didn't want to force everyone to change their Rolodex. That's right up by Lake Michigan. It's Grand Haven. But the fact of the matter is I'm in Seattle. So, San Francisco time zone, LA time. So, yep, we're on Pacific time in Seattle, but this is how you reach out and contact me. And let's talk about your project. I don't assign other guys to talk about projects with people because it's hard to even train people how to think about projects right. So yeah, you're talking to me if you can reach out to me, and let's discuss your project at the right level for your needs. Okay, I'm done with this topic, and just watch for the next one. All right.